Hi everyone, it's Travis with Coyote Moon Creative, your Squarespace web designer. In today's tutorial, I'm going to be walking you through how to add a fully customizable text highlight. Now, why should we be adding a fully customizable text highlight when Squarespace already has that feature native to the platform? Well, for one, Squarespace's text highlight feature is lacking in customization, meaning you cannot control the height, the width, you can't add gradient colors, you can't necessarily add any border radiuses. So what this custom CSS code solution is doing is taking the text highlight that's native to Squarespace and just sort of supercharging it and really being able to control all of the design elements within that highlight. So without further ado, let's jump into the solution. So the first thing we're going to want to do is focus in on a section on your Squarespace website or a whole page. This highlight works for at the block ID level, also at the section ID level. So let's go ahead and jump on into the solution. So the first thing we want to do, hover over the section on your website that has the text, click edit, figure out where you want to apply the text highlight. It can be to a single word, it can be to an entire sentence, or it can be to an entire heading, right? Or this whole block could be highlighted with your text highlight, right? In this instance, I really just want to call out the worked reimagine piece. So I want Awaken People, Unstoppable Teams to read just as it is, but I want worked reimagine to have a really beautiful background color so that it differentiates and really calls out those two words. So to do that, hover over work reimagine, highlight it, click bold, click save. Now the next step, this is optional, but it's super helpful. So there's two ways of finding a section ID or a block ID. The first one is the inspect element tool, which is a little more challenging. You kind of have to sift through to find it. And then the second one is the Squarespace block ID finder Google Chrome extension. So if you just type in Squarespace block ID finder into the Chrome store, you should find it, download it. Super easy to use. When we click it and enable it, it pops up the section ID. Grab that section ID. Now I'm going to go into my CSS editor and I'm going to type and copy and paste this code solution. So if you're on a Mac, just hit shift backslash, then type in CSS. That'll pull up your CSS editor. And now I am just going to I'll move myself out of the way here a little bit. I'm just going to be copying and pasting this code. Boom. Now, what do you see? The work reimagined is the highlighted bold text. So we told the CSS editor to only focus on those two words, which is the H2 strong. And we've added a top layer of yellow and a bottom layer of blue. This is a gradient text highlight effect. This is different than if you were to use the built-in Squarespace text highlight. So if we look at this and we do a text highlight and we add the full one, see the difference? This is the full height of the word. And here we're actually able to control it and tell the browser that we actually only want this text highlight to display when it's 50% down the letter. And we also added a gradient effect, which isn't possible with the built-in Squarespace text highlight feature. Okay, so that's kind of the difference. Now let's go back in and walk through the solution. So again, we are focused on the section ID, which again we grabbed using the extension. We're saying the H2 strong, which is basically just the bold words, which within this H2 heading is what we want to apply this CSS code to. And then our declaration is a background, which is basically the background color. And we're saying a linear gradient from top to bottom. And then there's all these values. Let me just clean this up a little bit and then I'll walk you through those values. Okay, so this first transparent 50% is basically saying we don't want any color to be applied to the top half of this word. Perfect, done. This next value, this hex color code, is saying that this yellow should start at exactly halfway. Perfect. This next color value, this baby blue hex color code, it is telling the browser to blend into the blue up to a 90% height. And then the final value of transparent 90% is just saying that it's transparent again below the 90% mark. So that is the solution. And if you want to take it a little bit further, we can add some padding. Let's see how this padding functionality works. So you can add a padding value. You could add a background size and a background position value. So there's a lot that you can control here beyond the built-in functionality that Squarespace has for your text highlight. So if you guys have any questions or you want me to go through some of these solutions a little bit more, go ahead and shoot me a note. I will leave my email contact and also my website in the description within the YouTube video. And I'm always happy to chat about, if you're getting stuck somewhere within the solution, happy to walk you through it. Thanks so much for listening in on today's tutorial, and be on the lookout for more custom code solutions and cool creative ways to really up-level your Squarespace website. All right, guys, thanks.